Well, thank you all for letting me come to Peak Producers. I walked into the room and someone said, "Do you know who these people are?" I said, "I don't know who they are." They are the top 10% producers in our region. And I was like, do I really have to still talk? Because I don't know. That seemed like a tall order. I don't know who put me on the program tonight, but I'm going to do my best, okay? I'm from North Carolina. This month of March, I celebrate my 40th year here in Colorado Springs. It's been, yeah, I know. Those that aren't 40 are clapping. Right? Because they're going, this guy's been here longer than I've been alive, right? And it's been such a wonderful time. I came here in the Air Force originally, spent 8 years in the Air Force and then landed here. And it's kind of odd that I'm speaking to people that sell homes, that work in the home industry, because I came here as a homeless guy. That's how I began my reintroduction to Colorado Springs 40 years ago, sleeping in Acacia Park. And for 6 months, I stayed there because my mindset was that this is where I was supposed to be. These were my people. I had moderate success in my time in the Air Force, and I drank myself out of the Air Force with alcoholism, low self-esteem, brought up in North Carolina. My schools didn't integrate until I was in 8th grade. So I grew up with an inner sense of feeling like I was less than other people, that I didn't measure up, that I wasn't a part. But Colorado Springs has been the rescue for my family and I. The Pikes Peak region has created the space and the opportunities for my business and my kids, who are all C-suite executives in Denver, all 3 of them, to excel. What an amazing thing it is, right? So I am here tonight. I wanted to read something from this crazy guy. I can't even remember his name. He's crazy, though, because who's that biggest exercise guy in the world? I bet I can ask any of you, and you know the book I'm talking about. Who is it? Not Rich Simmons. Richard Simmons? Oh, my. You have been here my entire 40 years, haven't you? Richard Simmons. Someone else help me. Who's that guy that writes? Huh? Yeah. Say his name again. Goggins. Yeah. The SEAL, the Navy SEAL guy. And the reason I say he's crazy because you have to read his book. But anyway, I'm going to quote him to start off the talk tonight. It says, "From the time that you take your first breath, you become eligible to die." That's a great thought, isn't it? Especially at my age. But you also become eligible to find your greatness and become the one warrior. But it's up to you to equip yourself for the battle ahead. Only you can master your mind, which is what it takes to live a bold life filled with accomplishments most people consider beyond their capability. Yes, so I thought that was a great start. I'm going to talk about synergy tonight because I don't know about your industry. You like synergy? I'm not talking about your company, Charles. Unless you want to pay me. No, I'm just joking. You do incredible work, my friend. I'm so glad. But synergy is something that I believe we create here in the Pikes Peak region. I believe it's a powerful force that's creating a moving power that's going to make us unstoppable in our ways forward. And I believe because your industry leads business, when we think about where's business going, how well is the economy working, we look to the home industry to really measure and to forecast how well we can do, how good things are going to go, right? And I know some of you got a little bit of sour faces when I'm talking about this because things have kind of changed, haven't they? Things have changed a little bit. It won't be the last time things changed. It's not the first time things have changed, but people are always going to need homes. And what an incredible, we have the best and the brightest people in this industry, I believe, anywhere. So I want to talk about synergy because I hope you guys can work together as we pull ourselves out of some challenges that we face in industry today. But together, if we create that type synergy, then we can move forward, I think, in a powerful way. Tim Cook, who's Apple's CEO, he addressed Tulane's graduating class of 2019. And he said, if you find yourself spending more time fighting than getting to work, stop and ask yourself, who benefits from all the chaos? Cook said this as well. There are some who would like to believe that the only way that you can be strong is by bulldozing those who disagree with you. We forget sometimes that our pre-existing beliefs have their own force of gravity. Today, certain algorithms pull us towards things that you already believe or like, and they push us away from everything else. Push back because it shouldn't be that way. I agree with Cook. We are prone to go towards the thing, hang out with the people that we know, the people that have things in common, and we don't really explore humanity to the degree that we can. Did you know in Colorado Springs in 2019, when we were looking at the best of lists, here's what we found on the Pikes Peak region. Now, this is pretty stinking cool to me. We were the #1 top places for female entrepreneurs in business in the nation. We were #1 by U.S. News and World Reports of the most desirable places to live. #1 Money Magazine put us as the best cities to live in. Outside Magazine ranked us #1 as the best town. Forbes says that we're America's most pet-friendly city. I certainly believe that. When I was being raised in North Carolina, if someone told you they were treating you like a dog, it was not a compliment. In Colorado Springs, it's the supreme compliment. Yes? It is amazing the way animals are treated here. Keep doing it. But anyway, Men's Health called us best city for dogs. There again. Nounson called us the most caring city. Zillow.com called us Santa's top 10 favorite cities. #1. Livability says we were the best pet city. #2. Men's Fitness called us the #2 fittest city in America. Women's Health called us the #2 best places to live for women. MSN.com called us the #2 city of conventional wisdom. Livability called us the best cities for veterans. And insuranceproviders.com called us the #2 safest city in the United States of America. Yes, can we give ourselves a hand? Some of that has changed. But I don't think that we've dropped off the stratosphere that far, that all of it's changed. I work with entrepreneurs. They're my target market as far as the coaching thing is concerned. And I still see in this city entrepreneurs springing up daily, around the clock, looking at this city as a springboard for their business and opportunities. See, we're currently in an expansion mode cycle again, I believe. I believe 2023 is going to be one of the biggest years that we've ever seen. I believe that we're going to move and shake in ways that we never thought possible. I believe that businesses that thought that they were going sideways are going to go upward in a trajectory that they've never seen before. Are you ready to hold on? Yes. Can 2023 be a year for you and I to reinvent the greatness, not only of our own spaces, but the collective spaces of all of our businesses here in Colorado Springs? I believe that with all of my heart. There's probably no one in this city that networks more than I do. 2019, top networker in the region. 2020, 2021, 2022. Not saying that to brag, it's because my network is my net worth. And it is for you as well, right? It doesn't mean you have to go to every group that's happening everywhere to network. Everyone networks. What does your network look like? Are you creating synergy in your network? Is it creating a space for other people? Are you the only thing that you're concerned with when you're out in business and trying to make business? If you are, then that's the number one problem. If you're not in business to serve other human beings, please get out because you're in our way. That should be the only reason that anyone ever even thinks about doing a business, is so that they can serve mankind and help to alleviate pain points in other people's lives. And the leftover is that all happens to you too. Isn't that cool? It is. See, we are currently in this mode in our economy, but it doesn't matter what kind of economy you're in, because who gets the credit for it? Historically, for about the last 58 months on average, or less than 5 years, we were in a growth economy before COVID hit, and then some other things. And I don't have to tell you the story. You can gloom and doom yourself, okay? I'm not here. I'm here to uplift and try to get your eyes upon the opportunities that lie before us here on the Front Range. So, I believe the best way to do this is by synergistic work and collaboration with one another. So, there's only two places that human beings land in life, and they're both C words. The first, they are cynics. If you're a cynic, raise your hand. That's what I thought. I was hoping I would get no hands. I was going, escort that knucklehead out, please, right? See, but you never thought you would be a cynic, did you? It's not like you're doing your sophomore year of high school beside your best picture you wrote. I hope to grow jaded and distrustful of humanity by the time I hit 40. I'm also hoping my cynicism will damage my family and make me impossible to work with. Go Broncos. It's not the way we start out, is it? That's in no one's yearbook. Yet, the typical person in today's culture breeds cynics all over the place. If you find yourself overly cynic, please cut off the news. Right? If you're overly cynical, cut off the news. My God, how can anyone stay positive and look at that stuff all the time? Someone asked me to run for mayor a couple of years ago. They said, you're so upbeat and encouraging, and people are going to love you, and et cetera. I said, the moment I put my name on the ballot, that'll all end. Because encouragement in politics do not make good bedfellows, right? So I want to do what I was designed to do, and that's not it. So I'm so glad of that. See, cynicism begins not because we don't care, but because we do care, and sometimes because we care too much. That's the space that creates cynicism. It starts because you poured your heart into something and got little in return. Or maybe you got something in return, but it was the opposite of what you desired. Most cynics are former optimists. You never know it now, but there was a time when they were hopeful, enthusiastic, and even cheerful. There's something inside the human spirit that wants to hope, wants to think things can get better. But as we constantly get bombarded by things, cynicism rises up inside of us and causes us to be in a place of pain. And what does pain do? Pain is never static. It always finds its way into others. It always creates that environment around the people that you're with. So cynics have grown exponentially because of all the pain that's been created in the current culture. Division, hatred, pain, all of the things. You know, someone capitalizes on all that stuff, guys. That's the reason that it comes out year over year and is continually fleshed out to you and I. Because people are capitalizing from cynicism, they're capitalizing from division. They're capitalizing from hatred. They're capitalizing from all those things that they're telling us they're trying to help people with. So what are you exposing yourself to? Peak producers. That phrase, those two words, require responsibility. That you are at your peak in lifting other people. That you're at your peak in creating space that other people can manage their lives better in. Not just a home, a house, but rather a home. That's what peak producers do. And it's impossible to do that in the space of cynicism. Number two reasons that cynics are created is because they know too much. We live in the information age, right? That's why a lot of times I don't go to talks because they're just pouring out more information. Listen, I know we need to know things, but quite frankly, I can Google that. Right? So I think we as a collective need to be inspired more than we need to be informed. Because inspiration is what takes people forward and creates the locomotion and the movement and the energy to create. So, you would think that knowledge is always a great thing, but strange, knowledge will often sadden you. Trust becomes harder because you know too much. If your heart hadn't been broken a dozen times by different people, you'd have found it easy to keep dating. If your business partner hadn't sold you out and gutted the company, you might have been an entrepreneur yourself. If your neighbors hadn't been so difficult, you might never have wanted to build that fence. Yes? But now you know too much. You experience the heartbreak, the betrayals, and the backstabbing that happens in humanity. You understand that people let you down. You've seen that some people can't be trusted. You know how love hurts. You realize that people are fickle and selfish. You recognize that not everyone succeeds despite all their good intentions and best efforts. The longer you live, the more you know, which is why cynicism and age are frequent companions. My. Shouldn't have said this close. Do you agree?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes.
She would not let me put that mic in front of her face. You're making me cynical, right? So, if you ever seen a really old person, and don't point at me, or you, if you ever really seen a really old person, they are locked in. If they're cynical at that point, forget it. Changing is like trying to run through hell with kerosene underwear on, right? Put that in your mind, right? But if they're joyous, if they're happy, they're locked in as well. That's why if you're a cynic right now and you're under 40, start to change. Start to change your cynical outlook. Even if you're 50, even if you're 60, you still have time to turn the boat around and change and get away from cynicism. So how do we kick cynicism in the teeth? Number one, we already know too much. We can't unknow what we know, right? We can't change those scenarios that we've been through in life. But there's a way that we can kick cynicism in the teeth. And it's another C word. Incredibly, the effective antidote for cynicism is curiosity. If you want to get past being a cynic, become a curious person. I just can't wait to get up, man. I mean, every day. What's your name?
Paul.
Paul Frank. It's so good meeting Paul. If I could sit down with Paul right now, you know the first question I would ask him? I'd say, Paul, tell me your story. And then Paul would go, well, I went to school here, I was raised here, and my parents he might not even bring up his parents, depending on how his parents were, right? And I had this kind, and here's the jobs that I had along the way, right? Isn't that the typical thing when you ask someone their story? Well, I'm not asking you for your resume. Your story is your deep-held place of where you've come from, where you are, and where you're going. That's what creates story. And curiosity is so awesome, man. I tell you, because each and every one of us are unique human beings. And if you're unique, what's your name?
Jerry Hendricks.
Excuse me?
Jerry.
Jerry? Nice meeting you, Jerry. Jerry, there is no other Jerry. Someone may share the name, but no one shares the experiences and everything that Jerry has. So doesn't it follow, if she's the only one, that means that there's a specific reason that you're here? Do you know what it is, Jerry? Still searching?
Still searching.
Still searching. I get that very often. People are always still searching for their specific reason. But you know what? People are not energized to do things they weren't designed to do. They're not. That's why people quit so many jobs and go to different places. They're searching for that certain it that creates the space of their design. Were you guys designed to be in the real estate, mortgage? Raise your hands if you know that you were designed to be in this space. Come on, don't be shy. Raise your hands. Yeah. You see how few? They don't even know yet. And they're still top peak producers. Could you imagine what would happen if you found out that you knew that you knew that you knew that this is what you were designed to do? Not just a check, not just sending your kids to college. I spent 40 years just sending all three of my kids to school. All three of my kids were in college at one time. Exactly. Yeah, that was crazy stuff. So guess what that created in me? It created a fear in stepping out. If you're peak performers and you want to be your very best, is my time about up? Who put me up here so I can look at them and ask? Yeah. Who? Oh, okay, there you go. Okay, so my time must be about up, right? Okay, let me wrap it up this way. Don't be a stinking cynic. Be a person of curiosity. And if you think that the doors have closed or the walls have come up or the opportunities have waned, if you get curious, new doors will open, new opportunities will come before you, and you will be the peak performer that you truly are. Thank you for letting me be here.